Hello, I'm William Gallagher alongside Malcolm Owen. Hello, Malcolm.
Hello.
And this is Mackin' in One More Thing. Although actually, this week it's one more ongoing thing. Because we're talking the law, which I'm not remotely qualified to do. And we're talking politics, which, come back. Here's the thing. The news this week is that the US government has ordered Apple to get them access into one iPhone used in a terrorist attack in San Bernardino late last year. Apple says this is creating a backdoor to all iPhones that anyone, including the government, could exploit in the future. To make a long story survivable, Apple is right. It isn't enough to be right, though, and this story is moving along every second with actual developments every hour or so, and rather than pin down a kind of moving target, One More Thing wants to take a little step back to examine the law and technology. Because here's another example of something going on at the moment. In the UK, the Conservative government wants to fine companies that post pornographic images online that children could find. Now, we're not here to debate issues of porn and children. It'd be a really short debate if we did, but we are here to point out it can't work. You can't track down companies across the internet, and frankly, even if you did, I don't see a two-man hut in Arkansas is going to pay an awful lot of attention to the British government demanding a fine. Plus, even the government admits this will not stop individuals posting online. So you literally cannot stop porn getting out there. 3 ways from Droitwich this does not work. But the UK government is persisting pointlessly. They're now actually consulting with the likes of Google, who presumably are going to tell them exactly the same thing. Though, okay, maybe not with the Droitwich example that just popped into my head for no reason. Malcolm, it doesn't work, does it? Or am I completely wrong? Sort this out.
You're pretty much right on this.
Okay, I wish I was I am recording that. I might replay that on a loop somewhere. I asked you about that after saying that the British government, but are you saying about Apple and the US government as well? I'm right everywhere.
In short, with regards to the encryption side of things, generally speaking, if you put in something into the encryption system or whatever security that you're going to have there, that you've got an easy way to get past all of it, what you're basically saying is, I hope that criminals don't find this. And it's extremely naive to believe that once you put in this backdoor feature, that a criminal's not going to go through the same backdoor. I mean, it's like the physical version, or, for want of a better thought, gun control and other things like that. Just because you put something out there which you think is going to be a safety feature to stop a bad guy from doing something, it's also there for the bad guy to do it, even if you don't want them to do it. What's going to stop them? The law? Oh, wait, no, they're bad guys. They ignore that.
In some cases, they might actually be the law, though. That's Tim Cook's open letter. It's very delicately phrased about how important the FBI is and how their intentions are good, but it actually says governments could use this. It implies at least the government will use this in future. I don't think it's reasonable to assume that the US or the UK governments don't understand something that is pretty blatantly obvious. It's not like this is a grey area either. You do this, that happens. That's it. So, is there an argument that governments don't understand technology, or is there something else going on here?
Yeah, I would say yes, there certainly is an argument about government and technology interfacing poorly. With the UK adult-related content, on the one hand, it's a completely accomplishable task to try and force, because what the UK government basically wants porn sites to do would be to put something in place that's a little bit tougher than an age gate. At the moment, in a completely hypothetical situation here, obviously, that I have never experienced myself, if you were to, in theory, go to a porn site or a site that offered material of a restricted nature, it would come up with a screen that would say, depending on where you are in the country or in the world, this is only suitable for people who are aged 18 or over. Are you 18? And people will almost certainly click yes, because no one's going to click no to that if they want to get past that single screen, the high security that it is. What the government wants to do is to put in something that forces there to be an actual check against the person viewing. So, for example, I know that there are gambling sites in the UK who certainly do this, where they check to make sure that you are really this person who is really legally able to gamble. But again, that's only within the UK's real jurisdiction, and that's fine, that makes sense. When it comes to adult material, do we really want there to be a register of people who are accessing this material? When you start doing things like checking against credit agencies and other sort of major databases that people use to check identity, you've then got this database of people who want to access this content and are proven to be real people. Now, I'm sure everyone remembers what happened with Ashley Madison and all the wonderful threats and so on that the users who registered their details on their site ended up having to deal with after all their details went missing.
Though, sorry, actually, no, hang on. You've just popped an idea in my head that you said about credit checks and things. I buy everything online via a credit card. I can't remember what the age thing is for credit cards, but I presume you have to be over a certain age to have one. Is not the presence of a legitimate active credit card proof of your age alone, or am I just naive?
Well, actually, yes. In a previous life, I used to work at a call centre, so I'm very familiar with the procedure of doing a £1 charge against a credit card, because you have to be 18 or over in the UK to get a credit card in the first place. When you're gambling online, you don't use a credit card, you use debit, so they have to go through different procedures. But even then, it still stands. Even if you do it as a £1 charge against a credit card as a very simple check, it's still a case of you have got some sort of proof that this person who went to this website to look at illicit content number 475 is a real person, and they have this name and this payment detail. Do you really want, if you were to go to a website and want to look at that sort of stuff, do you want that information to be collected, and do you want the risk of that being used in the future to blackmail you or to do some other untoward thing?
Well, you say that, but every now and again I get adverts served on Facebook for Kids from Fame albums, and I can track that back to an unfortunate purchase I made on Amazon.
Oh, it's the same thing for me. I'm getting constant ads for these cat wheels, the ones where it's a giant hamster wheel but for cats. And that's because I looked at one about 2 years ago.
Nearly 15 years ago, I did a feature for Radio Times magazine in the UK about all the spin-off merchandise from children's TV shows. To this day, whenever there's a new Dora the Explorer book, Amazon lets me know about it. So, yeah. I feel we're actually doing the government a favour here. I mean, not that I think they especially care what you and I say, but in principle, we've gone off down examining how it could be done and why it wouldn't work, when actually, just step back a second, it doesn't work. You say that government's technology, the interface between them, isn't exactly hot. You said it, and I keep thinking of all the ludicrous numbers of government computer projects that have gone billions over budget and not worked, and I think you have to be right. But I prefer I don't like to think that people running the world are thick. I think there's part of me that would rather think they thought I was thick. So here with the UK government thing, they're getting to bang on the drum and say how great they are sorting this out. I think we said this before actually about Apple and this ongoing thing. There's the US government able to bang on saying technology companies are bad, we're on the people's side. if that is right, if that is what governments all over the world are doing now, odds are they've always done it. They've always postured. They need to be seen to be doing something. Are we now at a stage where we, the populace, understand when something is, shall we say, less than likely to happen, and therefore technology is actually democratizing the process? And so at the moment it's very frustrating, the British government doing this, the US government doing that, but we are reaching a stage where things are ultimately going to be better.
I think that most people of voting age in most developed countries nowadays have this healthy at arm's reach of their local representatives and people in government. I trust our MPs about as far as I can throw them. Which
okay,
is...
let's just quantify that. How far can you throw an MP?
Let's see. Probably about half the distance of the equivalent toddler, I'm guessing.
Okay.
Basically, if you have the toddler on one of those reins that stop them from running away, I think that's roughly the same range as an elected official. I will trust them as long as they're within that range for whatever they're doing at that moment in time. For example, making a cup of tea for themselves or buying something in a shop. But as soon as they get out that range, I'm going to question what they're going to do, or what they're doing, or what they said they're doing. I think other people have this, I'm going to say, healthy contempt or mistrust, or however you want to call it, for officials. So we know full well, if they're going to be saying, oh, we're going to bring in this policy, you know full well that there's going to be something that someone else is going to be benefiting from, or that there's going to be some sort of ulterior motive or something else. Basically, Netflix did us a good thing by re-releasing House of Cards.
That's funny. I was thinking Yes Minister covered all of this in the 1980s. Look, who has time for this? We voted these guys in. It's always guys. Everywhere in the world, it's guys. Can we just sort everything out, please, and let us get on with our work? Apparently not. And I'm actually more news and politically aware than I have ever been because of technology. RSS sends 1,000 articles into my head every day. I know all this stuff that's going on, but most of it, I think, I'll just get on with something else, do something else. Listen, all right, actually, money where the mouth is, let's do exactly that. Let's get on with something else, something actual news, something actually happening, kind of, sort of, a bit. Or it will happen. It's coming, and it's nice. We are going to get 5-dimensional glass disc storage that is going to last for up to, I don't know how they work this out quite so precisely, 13.8 billion years. Malcolm, when will that be in the iPhone 7?
Probably not.
Oh, you think it's more an Android kind of feature, right? Okay.
No.
When will we get it? What is it? What's going on?
Sure, it's a small disk that can hold 360 terabytes of data, has a lifespan of a stupid period of time. It can survive in temperatures of up to 190 degrees centigrade, which is like 4 billion degrees Fahrenheit or something like that. It is all about data storage. It's nothing to do with writing data, it's then rewriting data. It is purely about making sure that information that we want to preserve for an extremely long period of time gets preserved. That's all.
You remind me, there's a nice gag in a Star Trek episode that I must find about exactly that.
Commence station security log. Stardate 47282.5. At the request of Commander Sisko, I will hereafter be recording a daily log of law enforcement affairs. The reason for this exercise is beyond my comprehension, except perhaps that humans have a compulsion to keep records and lists and files. So many, in fact, that they have to invent new ways to store them microscopically. Otherwise, their records would overrun all known civilization. My own very adequate memory not being good enough for Starfleet, I am pleased to put my voice to this official record of this day. Everything's under control. End log.
Also, 13.8 billion years. Tell you, if it lasts 13.7, I'm going to complain. I want it all the way to 13.8. Okay. Do you understand actually how it works? I have to say, I know it's nanostructures or even nanostructures in glass, but I haven't a clue.
I'm sure if I consumed enough caffeine, I'd be able to understand it, but my current mindset being coffee, 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 I'm not really in the right fit state of mind to do so, but I can understand where they're coming from with it.
In that case, let's just mark this out. We need benchmarking for MP throwing. We need benchmarking for amount of caffeine per technology news comprehended. You know, we're actually getting something. Here we're going somewhere. We could even become developers. It's funny you should say that, because actually I've been meaning to say this for weeks. MacNN.com has been running a series I really like, which is handy because I write it, it'd be terrible if I didn't, called Developer Insight. We go to one developer, well-known company, well-known product, and we talk to them about how they got there, what they've done, and really we sing the praises of it. If it weren't for one little thing, it would be a very praising kind of series. We're not there to compare, we're not there to, I don't know, condemn in some way. There are faults and we redress them, but really we've picked things because we like them and because they're very good in their field. But, you know, that's very nice. The reason for doing that picking and choosing those particular things is that in every case they are applications or platforms in this new case that have lasted a very long time and have not just users but fans. And they've built up a reputation over sometimes decades. And we wanted to use their insight into not just their stuff but the whole software industry. The industry is changing hugely. Software's never been so cheap. There is a race to the bottom to make free apps that are knocking out paid for things and therefore affecting jobs and livelihoods and changing what it is physically possible for developers to do. So we asked the developers how they're coping. This week there's one with FileMaker Pro, which is a fascinating one, I think, because it's not so much an app, it's more a way of life. There are people who do not work for FileMaker who do work exclusively in the FileMaker app. They've had 20-year-long careers where they only did FileMaker databases. They've run worldwide businesses consulting on this product. Previously, we talked about OmniFocus. Malcolm, I haven't mentioned OmniFocus in a few weeks. This is a to-do app. Have you come across it?
I have to say I've never actually heard of the app at all ever in history.
You should read that feature with Ken Case, the CEO and co-founder. He's actually a really interesting guy for all this other stuff, the opinion of how things have changed. In his case, particularly how they used to sell software in boxes, if you remember that, and the move to that and the perspective that gives you on things like Apple's 30% cut down those things. He's fine with that because he says they used to be lucky to get 30% at all after it had gone through the shops and distributing and things. And that's the kind of unexpected angle this series has given me, at least, and hopefully you. Developer Insight every week on MacNN.com. Malcolm, I'm deeply into that because I'd be interested anyway, but I'm also writing it. You are, as we always keep saying, the games guy, and for once, I have games news that I'm sure you know, but I didn't. Elite Dangerous has released Elite Dangerous Arena. I just don't know what it is and whether or not this is in any way exciting. Malcolm, what is EDA?
Now, I'm sure you're familiar with Elite Dangerous, right?
I am, and actually, I reviewed it for MacNN because I used the original Elite on the BBC Micro in the 80s and things, and consequently, actually, I get 11 billion emails from the Elite Dangerous company, and I presume one of them has told me what this is, but I get so many, I ignore them all. Elite, space game, shoot things, travel around, quite absorbing, yeah?
Okay, Elite Dangerous Arena takes out one part, namely the fighting. So you have a section called Close Quarters Combat in the main game, and this is actually a spin out of that, so you can now play the Close Quarters Combat section without owning the full title. So you can do all of this without having to go off and explore and do trading and building up your own resources to make yourself even more powerful in this fictitious universe. Instead, if you just want to go in there, fly around and blow up some spaceships, that's basically it. You can now do that without having to do the whole exploratory thing.
It's funny, when you said it takes out that thing, I thought it was, removing it, like these porn removal things or something, making it a nicer universe for families to play it. But you mean, no, it's coming out, shoot things. Yeah.
No, seriously, it is just that exact section of the game on its own. So you'll still be able to upgrade and play the full game if you want to. They'll even offer you a discount on the cost of the full game if you already have Elite Dangerous Arena. So you'll get $7.50 off the price, which is kind of nice. But you don't have to worry about the in-game trading. You don't have to worry about the exploration. It is purely just going in there, you're given a ship, you fly around, you blow each other to smithereens. That's really about it. It's if you want to get the action, but without all the boring stuff that some people really enjoy. The only problem they have at the moment is, although it's a nice idea, so far Frontier developments have only brought it out for the PC. They might bring out a Mac version, because it's surely it's not that difficult to spin out just that one section, considering the main game is made on for the Mac as well.
I didn't know that. I assumed it's all on Steam, so it runs everywhere, but it isn't.
No, the main game is a Steam game, so you can use it on PC, you can use it on Mac. Elite Dangerous Arena is only out on PC at the moment, but it works with the main game as well. So if you're playing the multiplayer in Elite Dangerous, you're also able to play that close quarters combat section against owners of Arena.
Right. Do you know, I've lost interest as soon as you said PC. That's rotten of me. Elite Dangerous is the first game. I bought a joystick to play Elite Dangerous, and I can see it now dusting away on my desk and things. Okay. I can't stand Steam, so I should be glad that it's not on that. But, I'm not going to go buy a PC to pay part of the game. This whole business of taking things out and doing things, and that thing you put in my mind of it being a family-friendly version of Elite, I was completely wrong, but I can understand why I went there, because something else equally exciting is out this week. 1Password for families. Now, actually, Malcolm, we have never talked about password managers on One More Thing. Do you use them? Even I do.
No. Actually, no. Technically speaking, yes, I do, but not quite. Because I basically live my life through the browser anyway, I already have a password manager of sorts in Chrome. I know it's not as fully featured as proper password management software or suites or apps or whatever, but it does the job quite well.
Does it enter credit card details? That's the thing for me. If I book a lot of train travel thing, with 2 buttons, it's filled in all the credit card details and thumped OK for me. Does the one in Chrome do that as well?
Oh yeah, it can fill out quite a few things like payment details and credit card details and so on as well. So, yeah.
I'm not honestly sure what 1Password does that doesn't it? Safari, which I use, also has a password thing. I don't think it does credit card details, but I use 1Password all the time, so I never try. I like 1Password very much. I've used it for years, and I wouldn't go away from it, although I've had the odd problem. I'm uncertain about 1Password for families. It's based, they say, they brought out 1Password for teams late last year, and I guess I can understand that. You're a business, you buy one copy, and everybody has the password to whatever it is your company uses all the time. And 1Password for families, the odds are in a typical family, there's one idiot like you or I that cares about this stuff and to deal with it, and everyone else in the family could benefit from updated passwords and things. But I'm pretty sure 1Password has family sharing. So if I bought it now, my wife Angela would have it. That's it. That's the extent of my family for it. So I don't really understand what this adds, but It's there, and it's a subscription thing. $5 a month for a family of up to 5 people, and they get a copy of 1Password. A nice thing, I think, is you get all of the different 1Password apps. So I bought it back in the day for iOS and OS 10. There are free bits, there are stuff. It's also on Android, it's on PCs, it's on everything you can think of. And with one exception, when it did lose some data for me many years ago, and I can't forgive it for that, it's a really good, reliable, fast thing, and I use it in preference to Safari, but I don't yet know how much by habit. We should look into that to find out whether you still need them, because there's also Dashlane, isn't there? There's LastPass, or LastPassword, I can't remember what to call it. There are a lot of these things. Are they dead? Have they been Sherlocked by browsers? I truly do not know. I'm going to think about that. 1Password for families. It's not my thingy of the week. It doesn't sound like it's going to be yours. What is the Malcolm Owen thingy of the week?
It's actually a bit of media. So this isn't an app. It's not a physical object, or kind of it is actually. I'm actually late to the party with this one, which is going to be fun. Have you heard of The Martian?
Yes, seen the film, read the book, understand it won Best Comedy at awards. Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm entering this log for the record. This is Mark Watney, and I'm still alive. Obviously. I have no way to contact NASA or my crewmates, but even if I could, it would take 4 years for another manned mission to reach me. And I'm in a hab designed to last 31 days. So, in the face of overwhelming odds, I'm left with only one option. I'm gonna have to science the shit out of this. Okay, let's do the math. I gotta figure out how to grow 4 years worth of food here, on a planet where nothing grows. But if I can't figure out a way to make contact with NASA, none of this matters anyway.
Houston, be advised. We've got a video message. It's directed to the whole crew. Play it.
Mein Gott. Mark Watney's still alive.
Woo! In your face, Neil Armstrong.
We left him behind. Let's go get our boy.
This is something NASA rejected, so we're talking mutiny. And if we mess up the supply rendezvous, we die. If we mess up the Earth gravity assist, we die.
It's space. It doesn't cooperate. I guarantee you that at some point, everything's gonna go south on you. And you're gonna say, this is it. This is how I end.
Is it possible that he's still alive?
It's my turn, and I've been kind of avoiding this one because you've won. You've actually got me playing a game. I don't think it's a game you might necessarily have expected. I mean, you've mentioned Her Story before. It's not that. We talked about Fire Watcher or something, which sounds like a Twin Peaks movie now I think of it. It's not that either. It is, and this is actually the title, A Tiny Game of Pong. It's the old-fashioned blip, blip, blip game for your Apple Watch. That's it. I honestly don't know how much more I can usefully say about it, apart from the fact that, well, it's not the sort of game you expected, but it has destroyed my productivity the way I expected. So, in a roundabout way, thanks a bunch. But thanks a bunch, too. It is fun. I'll just play one more game about that. Yeah, if I didn't have one more game to play, we could talk about more technology stuff, but I do, so we can't. Hopefully I'll be weaned off this by next week. Good talking to you, and goodbye.
Goodbye.